This episode is brought to you by Dogfish Head Craft Brewery. The Grateful Dead and Dogfish Head have gotten the band back together with the release of Grateful Dead Juicy Pale Ale, a light-bodied pale ale brewed with sustainable kernels of grains, granola, and heaps of good karma for a refreshing brew that's music to your taste buds. Available nationwide, visit dogfish.com to find Grateful Dead Juicy Pale Ale in your neck of the woods. Dogfish Head Craft Brewery is located in Milton, Delaware. Please drink responsibly.
All right, I'll take the blame. I know I said we'd never lose again or something Ray-esque a week or two ago. It's my fault. Certainly no other aspect of Saturday night could go to anybody else. I'll take all the blame. You know where to find me. In all seriousness, we have plenty to discuss about this match against Tulsa. We have plenty to look forward to, the match against Birmingham. All that, and maybe a little bit more. This is the Orange Black Soccer Cast. Well, for all of you who are joining us on this wonderfully warm Tuesday night, thanks for being here. I'll just jump right into it because it's a small crew tonight. Orange County played a man down on Saturday night for most of the match, and the Orange Black Soccer Cast is a few men down, I think, on this wonderful Tuesday evening. So, Brad, Mr. Las Vegas himself, Wayne Newton, move on over. Welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Is it just funny how we're the Orange and Black Soccer Cast talking about Orange County Soccer Club, and the entire host crew is not in Orange County? I find that at least a little bit humorous. I don't know about you guys.
Okay, I mean, we can go into this conversation nice and early because what else truly do we have to... Okay, yes, go ahead, Producer Andy.
Brad, we can have fans anywhere. They don't have to live in Orange County.
Thank you, Producer. That is the earliest appearance he's ever made, so...
yeah, I was about to... Really
not ideal. This also begs, is it Orange County Soccer Club when they play outside of Orange County? I would say yes. So how much does one's... I don't want to say expertise, but perhaps knowledge or quote-unquote authority depend on their location? Look... You and I have both been watching. I'm from Orange County. I will not hear the slander, actually, Brad. Do you have any other bad takes you want to get out right now?
I'll do a devil's advocate. That was the most deserving red card ever in all of red cards. I can't say that with a straight face, but here we are talking about it.
Well, we'll get to it. Let's talk about this entire match. I heard various people say various things, such as Orange County weathered a storm or Orange County got away with one for a little bit. I feel like that's incredibly critical, perhaps. But, Brad, what were your initial thoughts just from the result of this match?
Look, I honestly really do hold a huge amount of appreciation for how the team played despite being man down. I think it was one of the better performances of the year. Creativity was there. Everything was there except for one Mr. Stephen Kelly and a goal to be scored. I'm not faulting Stephen Kelly directly. I do think he got played into a very bad situation, but I do think he is a little bit better than what we saw there.
It marks 2 red cards for Stephen Kelly in 2025. And suffice to say that neither of them were clear-cut red cards, which is a little bit frustrating. But, such is the nature of USL play. Brad, do you want to... let's just get into it, right? Let's talk about this red card. He gets, a month and a half ago, gets sent off for, quote-unquote, elbowing a player in the face in Monterey, and now gets sent off for, quote-unquote, denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity. Do you agree? I don't think you do. You had a very half-hearted attempt at saying it was a deserved red card a moment ago, but expand, please.
Yeah, okay. It is a weird situation because I don't think I don't think he's the last man there. He really got played into a position where it's almost a lose-lose. And I do think Shuttler does share, kind of a hand in that. However, you gotta be a little bit smarter than that. I think you don't have to lunge for the ball like that recklessly. No man's always gonna hit the turf after that, and you're putting the ref into a situation where he either makes the call or he has the home crowd also yelling at him during the same moment.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. You don't put him in that situation to begin with. So ultimately, I think the fault lies at Colin Shuttler, who is looking out at his options and just both underhits that ball and also puts it in probably the worst spot he can. At the risk of sounding like a troglodyte, they can't score from Rosie. They can't score from 80 yards away either. I mean, I would have hoofed it out, but I'm a product of a bygone generation, so I understand. Beyond that, Brad, because since we're already on this topic of things I didn't really care to talk about, do you think the surface had anything to do with that? Of course, Colin Shuttler's passing through a baseball diamond with some sod laid on top of it. So does that play a part? I mean, you dealt with this in Reno for years. How much does it matter?
As for baseball diamonds, this is probably one of the better baseball diamonds that you can play on with, the grass getting maintained. I'm not going to chalk it up to it's the cause of it. I really do think it was just a bad opportunity. And, here it is on the screen for those of you. Like, sure, maybe the sod had something to do with it, but I don't agree. I think we wouldn't have been complaining if this was a yellow card. I think definitely is a card. Steven gets there first, but he also gets the man. And like you said, you don't put the ref in situations like that because you might not like the call. And we don't have the ability of VAR in this league to really make use of. Probably, I I can't speak for certain, but I think if we did have VAR, that might have been downgraded a little bit. But I don't think the field positions really, or field conditions really get to play into what happened there. At the end of the day, don't put the ref in a position like that because once when a card comes out, it's very rarely you see them overturn it.
I'm actually really glad you brought this up about the VAR thing because I believe it was a comment on these very YouTube highlights that we happen to be watching right now. Is this league really needs VAR? Has anybody watched VAR be used over the last half decade? It's a joke. It's used horribly, and pretty much all they're going to do is back whatever the referee on the field decided. So, what would really change in this situation?
Also look at some of the conditions of the stadiums in this league. Do you really think that outside of a stadium like Lou City, I don't think that I would want the stadium down in St. Pete that is really kind of a older baseball stadium to have VAR installed into it. It just, and look at this stadium here. Where are you going to put cameras on every single, side of the field? That's going to get, at least 8 cameras, probably more like 10 to 12, like in the Premier League. You know, VAR, as good as it could be, you're right. We haven't seen consistency in some of the Premier Leagues out there. Why should we expect, the USL to be really any better at it? And also, looking at the goal highlights there, I know that we need to move on a little bit, but Orange County, I think Stephen Kelly is marking that man on the header when that ball gets put into the middle of the field there, wide open, nobody's on him. Uh, One of those, just conditions of you're down a man. But after the first half and allowing a goal like that, I think Orange County was the better team in this game.
Yeah, I think it's very harsh to be too hard on Orange County. Tulsa's in first place in the West, and they, at no point in this match, really seemed like they were the hardest team that Orange County's played. And that might not actually be how you end up in first place, but they actually don't seem like that great of a team. This feels like a Trying to think of who normally does this. No disrespect to Bob Lilly, who's caught a lot of strays on this podcast this year, but like a Riverhound situation, you make it, you get knocked out in the first round because it turns out you're actually not that good. And oh well, because I want to hate on them some more because it's Oklahoma. Much like the National League doesn't let you promote if you don't reach a certain level of field quality, maybe the USL should just not let these teams play in the playoffs because they don't deserve it. I'm glad we're talking about like, oh, hey, maybe it had something to play into this red card and not, hey, one of our players tore his ACL playing on a baseball field because why do these teams play in baseball fields? Which is fine. Adam John's career certainly couldn't have gone any better at the last tail end of it. Had nothing to do with the baseball stadium. It's fine. We'll move past it. Ultimately, statistically, Orange County, I think, did pretty well here, and I'm sure the XG stats will actually prove me wrong, but down a man, forcing Tulsa to largely take pretty low opportunity shots. Shuttler did decently well. I mean, he was marginally busy. I personally think he could have come out on the goal that they scored, but I don't want to be too harsh because what do I really know? I'm just some random guy, and I'm not nearly as tall as him, so even more so, unqualified. Beyond that, Colin Shuttler's actually up for save of the week for one of his earliest saves. Brad, I don't know if you've gotten a chance to see this one, but it's one of his second save where he punches it over the bar. Do you think that, of all the options from this past match week, should be the one that was nominated for save of the week?
I can't speak to the other one, but Shuttler, yeah, he's very deserving. And just kind of to back you up, I agree. Just for the second half alone, off of face value, I think Orange County was the better team this match, providing a lot of possession. Look, you're a man down, and you're forcing Tulsa to have less than 40% share of the ball throughout the entire game. Like, I don't know if that's just Tulsa's strategy. It's not what we precursored this game last week. We said Tulsa is, yes, a counter-attacking team, but they don't turtle as much as we saw them do in this game. I think Orange County deserved a goal in this game. We saw some highlights already that just showed, Orange County was generating some good space, generating some good pace, creating opportunities, but for whatever reason, just unlucky. And, I've said it, I've flogged a dead horse with this. Good teams create their own luck, and we were just unlucky on the road. And I don't think we penciled this in as a must-win game, but they were talking about it on the actual stream itself. We came into that match, a match in hand, a game in hand, in seventh place, with the opportunity to potentially move up to fourth or third, and we ended up the match in eighth. And still a game in hand, 2 games in hand over some of the teams above us in the table. But dropping points like that kind of sillily is a little unfortunate.
Unfortunate is fair. We're a misplaced header away from going home with at least a point. But again, Orange County actually did quite well defensively, and then in terms of creating chances, causing a little bit of chaos going the other way. Very unlucky to get a goal ruled out, I think. And beyond that, creating chances. This wasn't the Orange County of months past where they didn't do anything going forward, regardless of how many people were on the pitch. This is still an Orange County team that is more than happy to break with numbers and take a chance. So, unlucky to not get a result. Is it the end of the world? No. I mean, let's take a look at the standings really quick. Yes, Orange County is in 8th place. That's the last playoff place. And I believe 27 points. Yes, thank you, producer Andy, from 19 matches. Still a game or two in hand on most of the teams above them, save for New Mexico, who are currently in 7th. And there's a little bit of a 3-point cushion and 3 matches difference between 9th placed Monterey Bay. So to the formerly known as Monterey Bay Union supporters, please enjoy that 20% discount off of your season tickets in about a month and a half. That'll feel really good, I'm sure. Outside of that, Orange County, is all hope lost, Brad? I feel like the answer is no.
No, the answer is of course no here. Orange County still is in good form. Look, played very well in this game. Unlucky to come away with without any points. But I don't think that we look at this match and we're saying, "Oh, Orange County was the worst." Like, let's look at that Chechik goal, that Conant goal that was ruled off. Right call by the ref, utilizing his AR there to establish that it was offside. That's just being a little unaware of his surroundings. And while I do believe the ball does come off of him in an offside position, an inch back and he would have been probably fine. So just kind of learning positioning on the field. Obviously, he's still a younger player, hasn't really gotten as much time as some of our players on the field, but he'll. Uh, all in all, I think that Coach Danny Stone is talking to his team in the locker room, and he says just one word, and it's unlucky. And we move on, and we look at what we did right with 10 men instead of dwelling on the past, because, like we had said in this game, Orange County is the better team in this game at the end of the day, I think.
Well, at the end of the day, Orange County is the best team in history of all time, of all sports, of all leagues, of all clubs. Doesn't matter. Orange County's the best. That's why we're all here on a Tuesday night. Is all hope lost? No, a win. It's very funny to me. Orange County's in 8th place, and until you get to 3rd, El Paso, no other team has a positive goal difference. So there's this massive gap. Orange County has conceded, I believe, 3 goals in their last 5 matches. So, yeah, didn't score, didn't get the job done. Oh, well. As John Morrissey said this week, who cares about 11v10 soccer? And with that, let's discuss what's going to happen this coming week, this weekend, however you want to phrase that, with Orange County playing 10th place Birmingham Legion. So clearly things aren't going so well for the Vulcan. I mean, 20 points from 21 matches. 4 of those are wins. So this is truly a team that does not really have it sorted out. How do I put this kindly? They drew against a Bob Lilly team, which is very funny to me. And other than that, they managed to lose 4-1 to Hartford. To Hartford, ladies and gentlemen. Perhaps I should be a little more respectful of them. The team lost 1-0 to Colorado, drew 3-3 with Phoenix. So it's a mixed bag, but they are not getting results. And as we've seen from Orange County earlier in the year, when you're not getting results, how do I quote Bryce Jameson? The vibes aren't that good. Brad, have you seen anything from Birmingham this year? Birmingham. First off, where do we stand on how it's pronounced? And second off, where do we stand on what the club is up to in 2025?
Well, first I got to something because people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. We drew against that same Bob Lilly team like 3 weeks ago, if you don't remember.
No, that's fine. We're the best club in history. I will not hear a word.
So I don't think it was as sick of a burn as you imagined in your head there. Look, yeah, Birmingham struggling this year. They have one player that's doing well, and I think we all don't need to we all know who it is. It's Ronaldo Damas. He has 9 goals on the season. He scores a lot. He runs really fast. He always seems to find a way to get open. I could end talking about this team here, and I probably should, so I don't get myself in trouble. But friend of the show, Kaylor Hodges, I listened to him earlier in the year talking about how this is definitely not indicative of Birmingham Legion soccer, and this is definitely an off year for them. The team is a lot better than this, and with a coach like Mark Briggs under the helm there, you have to assume that they should right it before the end of the year. I'm hoping they have another week of being off, however, because just like us, the bottom half of the East Coast Conference is honestly pretty tight. They are sitting with 20 points. 3 points out of playoffs, 8 points off of 6th place. So anything could still happen there. They're not close to eliminated, and they're going to be fighting, to win the game, as John Madden would say.
Incredible. That's great because we could have this Ray-esque conversation of, hey, like, are they trying? Are they just going to go out to try and hurt somebody? Whatever. Beyond that, yes, the things I think tend to be pretty tight when you're a really bad team, as half of the East is. Actually, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going full on war on literally every club and the league itself and pro refs. The East Coast is a joke, and that's true. Just ask Orange County, just ask San Antonio, just ask Phoenix. Them's the rules, baby. History don't lie.
Don't ask Tampa Bay, though. Tampa Bay looks horrendous in the East. I'll ask you this, though. And what does Orange County need to do differently? Or similarly to the past couple weeks, 3 goals allowed in 5, like you had said. What needs to happen this game without Stephen Kelly to really bring home a win and 3 points for you? And is this needed 3 points?
Yes, it's a needed 3 points at this point. I think it's time to start separating between right on the cusp, or shall I say, it's time to separate between those who will host and those who will visit in the business end of this season. What does Orange County need to do? Score a goal. Is Stephen Kelly going to help with that? Not technically, directly, statistically. No disrespect, Mr. Kelly. At least I know you're actually Scottish.
I hope not, because he's on a red card suspension.
Yeah, and ultimately I don't think Orange County needs his services in this match. Would it help? Yes, but we saw Orange County be plenty dangerous and plenty difficult for Tulsa to defend against, and I think bringing that same level and that same level of expansive counterattacking is probably going to cause too much of a problem for Legion. So have at it, bypass it, and crush Mark Briggs. They've done it plenty of times before. They'll be just fine. Is he still a coach? I don't even know what's going on over there. It's the East Coast. It's the least coast. Yeah. I never think about them.
He's their coach.
Look at that. I truly only want the best out of Ronaldo Damas, and if he could just have an off game, that would make me really happy. Do it for me, Ronaldo. Thank you so much. Brad, what does Orange County need to do in this match? And please do not say just score more goals than the opponent.
Yeah, I think Orange County needs to, if our game plan is to control the ball, I think we played very well with possession against Tulsa. Again, unlucky to get a goal. It seems like that's kind of been the strategy over the last couple of weeks is sustained possession and then attacking through the wings, and then finding an opportunity to break through the middle of the pitch. If we're able to do that, if that's how comfortable we're going to play, just make sure we don't get burned on the counterattack. Because Ronaldo Damas is going to run faster than anybody else on that pitch. He's going to get behind you, and you really want to try a one-on-one situation with Colin Shuttler against Damas. They've practiced plenty together in the past couple of years, or a couple of years ago. So no, I would want to avoid that at all costs. I do think that the team just needs to play similarly. Like, yeah, we got unlucky one game. If we continue playing like we've in a row since we were statistically eliminated from the anti-Malort Cup, then yeah, awesome. Like, this should be a pretty shoe-in win for the team. If they don't, if we end up going down a man and really biting the bullet and hurting ourselves, hopefully it doesn't end up like last week.
I think ultimately the overarching message here, and Brad, please correct me if I'm wrong, is there's no need to panic. Orange County is doing fine. 8th place sounds a lot worse than it actually is when you look at the fact that statistically the teams above us tend to be worse than they are better, and Orange County is still trending in a pretty great direction. So
we're still 3 points out of 4th. Like that's the weirdest thing. That's the weirdest thing to say, because like any other league, any other table at this point in the year, and you're like, yeah, 3 points, that's the difference between like 12th and like 11th. But we're looking here and it's 8th and 4th.
It's called parody, ladies and gentlemen. Where was I with this one? Producer Andy would actually like me to know, and I would just like to issue a correction now. It was Kevin Partita who talked about the vibes, so I was there for that. That's a little embarrassing. It's just one of those years. It's fine. Look, Orange County's the best club in history. I am not the best podcaster in history, and I'm more than happy saying that. Brad, who's scoring in this match? What's the score line going to be? Who's winning?
You know, I think I will speak for Mr. DK, and I want a Zuby goal. I will vouch for him until I am blue in the lungs myself.
Blue in the lungs, yeah?
Blue in the gills, blue in the face, blue.
Do you have gills?
You don't know that.
I was just
Anyways,
a question.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, thank you. Speaking of one Ronaldo Damas, Brad's given up, so I'm going to say he's guessing 2-1 Orange County with a Zubac goal.
No, I'm going to say my prediction was 2-0 with a Zuby goal, and, you know, I have no idea who else is going to score.
I'm feeling a 1-0 Orange County victory. Shout out Shuttler. Prove me right. And, hey, like I said, Ronaldo Damas, I love you, my friend, but please take a week off. Enjoy yourself. You've earned it. You can't be this good for so long. You know, you gotta take a little vacation.
And for our fellow host, Mr. Larry, who's somewhere out in the Alaskan wilderness enjoying a cigar or something, he's gonna say 5-0 Birmingham.
Yeah, Ray is just gonna do the same thing. I think whatever. Congrats to both of those gents on enjoying their vacation. But hey, rather than being on vacation, if you're listening to the show right now, you're putting in some real work. Maybe, allegedly. Who knows? So why not just make sure that you're subscribed to this podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to this video podcast on YouTube, if you don't mind. And, if you're not following us on social media, our handle is at OCSC_soccercast on Twitter or whatever it's called these days. I can't think of other social media platforms. Instagram, there's one. We got it. TikTok, if you like looking at weird clips of my face. Just follow us, I think is the point. And hey, if you got this far and you think that we're just talking ish, you're right. You could read DK's recap from this past match at ocscpodcast.com, and you can say, wow, this is a lot more elegant, intellectual take than those two morons babbling on a podcast. Brad, as we kind of reach perhaps a conclusion to this episode really quickly, Joseph Figueroa, thank you for sharing. 2-0 Orange County. Mo War and Bryce Jameson on the score sheet.
I'd be down for a Mo War goal.
Would Wendy be down for a Mo War goal? Could we get her thoughts on this match, please?
I don't think she's very talkative tonight, which is definitely out of character, but someone ate her dinner too fast and threw it up earlier today, so.
We've all been there. I mean, that's how I celebrate every pre-show, to be honest with you. Why do you think the show starts at 8:02, everybody, and not 8 o'clock? All right, Brad, there was nothing to learn, unfortunately, because we didn't have any guests. So, what random soccer thoughts and or news do you have for us?
Yeah, let's talk about the oh gosh, how should I say this? The Big Hill Dick? Can I say that?
Well, you just did, so why don't you explain it?
Yeah, hey, look, Everton had their first ever home game at the new stadium, the Hill Dickinson Stadium, which is named after a law firm, or colloquially, the Bramley Moore Docks. Wonderful stadium, great attitude. Hearing Z Cars as the team came out onto the pitch was absolutely great. And while I am just an American who's never been abroad to England, I've been abroad other places. Look, I could tell you just watching and listening how much it meant to them, how much it meant to me to see this wonderful stadium. And not just that, but Mr. Jack Grealish, a player who I never expected would have been on Everton in my lifetime, a player of that caliber. He looks to have captured some of that old magic coming back in, and it was great to see. Also, West Ham struggling is also great to see.
We're afraid we don't have time to dive into why you enjoy that so much. Brad, I raise your Z cars, and knowing the Chelsea fans in the world and the West Brom fans in the world, probably a whole bunch of other teams I'm forgetting, will be very happy. Nothing will ever top The Liquidator by the Harry J. All-Stars. That is the quintessential walkout song. Except for whatever Orange County's walking out to these days. I couldn't remember. Too many shots of Malort at pregame is mostly the reason for that one.
True.
Brad, thank you for being here. For those of you who listened, yes, short show. Yes, short-staffed. Thanks for joining us all the same. We'll be back next week with a hopefully better performance, better result, more... I was going to say diverse, but that's not accurate. More bearded. Just as white cast of morons running their mouths at you on a Tuesday evening. So you know where to find us next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. But for now, for Brad, for Wendy, who didn't want to speak for once, for producer Andy and myself, this has been the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, and we are out.